The Wellness Show, episode number 400.
Welcome to The Wellness Show, a podcast on health and wealth. I'm your host, Tyhson, the founder of the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. Join me as we get the latest insight, tips, and strategies from wellness providers, coaches, and successful, heart-centered entrepreneurs, and much, much more. All right. Welcome to the Wellness Show on Health, Wealth, and Enlightenment. And I'm your host, Tyhson Bannigan. And we're here with you for the next hour to answer all your questions on dowsing and energy healing, what's up on planet Earth, and what's up in your life. And today is Psychic Reading Day. There were so much phone calls coming in, and it was exciting to help you understand what's happening in your life. So I know that there was people that wanted in to the show and they couldn't get in, so we've decided that we would repeat that opportunity for you to have a brief psychic reading. The only way that you can do that is by phoning in 1-866-369-7464. We can't answer any of your requests if you type them in Facebook comments, right? You need to phone in order to participate. If you want to use, come in internationally, you can use the WhatsApp. It's 1250-803-2480, 1250-803-2480. That's the way that you can reach us internationally. Or toll free in North America, 1-866-369-7464. But before we get to that, we have a guest back, and this is going to be the Empath weather report with Carla. So we have to go find Carla. Carla's out there somewhere. So we're just going to bring Carla on here.
Awesome.
And here she is. Here she comes. Where is our Carla?
Oh, she's not here now.
There she is.
Yay.
Yeah, it disappeared and came back. It was like a magic trick.
I know it is. I mean, you are magic all the way through. That's what empaths, they're magical.
Indeed, indeed. Hello, how are you guys doing today?
Well, it's crazy fun. It's Friday. It's the end of the week, and we get to wrap things up with psychic readings. And you may want to stay on for that, and then you may not. And we see that we have your friend, the one and only Pamela. So when you're ready to bring her on, let me know, and we'll do that as well. Correct?
Great. So let's, this will be pretty short because I know you guys have a lot going on today, but this is a super intense, I mean, it's going to be intense all through 2020. So let's just, in terms of the weather report, you know, buckle down, be prepared. Again, I'm a little bit nervous again. This happened last time, but once I get going, I'll be fine. Welcome to being an empath, right?
You're so sweet, but nothing to be worried about. All of our listeners are so kind.
You know, it's really great that you said that, because those of us who are empaths, it actually has very little to do maybe what other people are thinking or feeling. It's just we're feeling the energy, and it if you think of our body as being like a radio station, it's like we're getting all of the frequencies come in, and it's overwhelming. And so it's challenging to find our energy, our thoughts, because we're hearing and feeling you know, other frequencies.
Absolutely.
Michael is saying something about a speaker view.
All right, we'll put a speaker view.
Okay.
You get to be front and center.
Oh, great.
Wonderful. You're on.
Your hair is so cute today. We got to show it off, girl.
I actually cut it in the shower last night, so I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I just took the scissors, and anyway, let's go to the weather report. So I don't know if you guys are aware, you probably are, the United States is having its plutonium return right now. So, you know, it's the United States birthday, July 4th, and this is where Pluto was when it was developed, when it was born. And Pluto is death and destruction, and it's in Capricorn, okay, which is the government. And I don't know if you guys are paying attention to what's happening in the US, but it's chaos. And so those of us who are, you know, empaths, we're feeling, you know, all the Black Lives Matter. There's a lot of the sex trafficking, like there's a lot of light being shown on that that's happening for the children. There's I mean, there's just so, my brain is just like, "Oh," so much that's happening, and we're feeling that all. There's also this time where we feel things in the distance. So like there's all this happening, but we know it's not at the peak yet. And so what I really want to encourage people to do is, it is July 4th here. It's not necessarily a time to party though, because the energy isn't what I would say conducive for partying and going out. Like it's not like air quotes safe. And I'm not really into fear. And I know we could put on our protective bubble and we're fine, but there's lots of chaos and there's a lot of people who are disconnected and who aren't tuned in and who are reacting instead of responding to things. So this, do again, like what I said last time, do what you can to ground, to clear your space, and really listen to what your intuition and your heart is telling you to do at this time. People might be having parties and all of that. Tune in. Do you really want to do that? Is the cost benefit worth it to you to be around that energy? And so, to some people it is. Like they want to go do that regardless of the repercussions. Other people like myself are like, no, I'm fine. I'll be here with my dog. I'll paint. Like I like being on, in my own space. Yeah. We're also in the eclipse, right? There's a massive eclipse that's happening, which is the third in a row, which is also very unusual. So this is a time when we are releasing. And, again, death is the theme, but doesn't necessarily mean like we are dying, like I'm going to, die. But it could, so it could be that, but it's more like, what are you releasing in terms of contracts? What thoughts, what relationships are ready to be released? It could be work. It could be personal relationships. It could be your relationship to money. Like all of these different, it could be where you're living. Again, it depends where it's on in your chart. But if you're feeling like something just isn't working anymore, it's not. And this is the time, cut it now. Because as you guys know, if we don't take that empowerment choice, the universe will come in and chaos will happen to make you move forward. So that's my weather report is be kind to yourself, tune in, and make those hard choices of cutting those cords. And that doesn't necessarily mean like you have to end the relationship today or you have to quit your job today. It's making the decision. You're not going to focus your energy there anymore. You're going to bring it forward and look elsewhere of what your next steps are. So it doesn't have to be hard and fast unless you want it to be, because you don't want to set yourself up for disaster, right? If you don't have money coming in, maybe you don't want to quit that job quite yet. Or if you don't have another place to live, maybe you don't want to give notice yet. But you're making that decision, something isn't working, so you could use the focus of the energy to bring forth the magic that you deserve. So I'll end there.
Yeah, so don't forget you have our friend Pamela, who said that we wanted to have the opportunity to come on. And Pamela and Carla are in a mastermind group together. We meet once a week, and we've been doing it. I don't know how long we've been doing that. Carla, how long we've been doing that? I can't remember.
Many of years. I think we brought Pamela on, I think 3 or 4 years ago, and you, me, and Janet were doing it a few years before that.
Right. And we brought Pamela on because she's very, very good at working with clients, very much from the business. I mean, we're talking about upper business level. And we had an interesting discussion when we met last week, and that was, well, I don't think Pamela said, I don't think I'm empathic. I don't think that. And so Carla said, well, why don't you come on the show so I can tell people why I think you're empathic. So we're going to go back to doing the speaker view here. And so
we are on speaker view.
Why don't you introduce her and ask her those pertinent questions?
Hi, Pamela.
Hi, Carla.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Another cute haircut. Oh my gosh, I love these short haircuts. Woo! And you got a little purple in there too, Pamela?
Yeah.
Oh my
Actually,
God.
it's called Mercury.
Beautiful.
Yeah, doesn't she look great? I mean, she's stunning, This is like serious business crap. I mean, really
No, her
serious business.
background and everything. You need
Yeah.
to come to my house and help you with my background.
Okay.
Look as good as your background.
Oh, you're sweet.
Match my
Thank
hair
you.
and stuff.
Oh, I'm
gorgeous.
loving it.
Gorgeous. So tell us, Pamela, what's going on?
Well, actually, because I listened to Carla and with Carla and Janet and Tyson every week, and I get on, we talk, and they're just like so ethereal. They're always talking about the stars and what's going on, and it's kind of woo woo, and I feel like I'm just like not that. And yet, and I'm always like, why am I on these calls with you? Why do we get together? And they just laugh and they say, because you're part of us. And so it's like I walk from a different path, and I don't understand the connection. I don't understand how I'm connected yet. When I work with people, I just know what's happening. I know where to go. I know what to ask. I know the questions to ask. I just don't, there's just no woo about it. I guess I should say it like
Oh, so
that.
you've got all knowing. So it just comes to you. You don't know how you get it. You just get it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
That
good
gave
at
me
sorting
chills.
gnats.
That gave me
I'm good at
chills.
sorting gnats. If you ask me, I can tell you what you're like how you're getting your information. But that's it. So that's why you don't feel woo woo, because you're like, doesn't everybody just know this?
Well,
This is so obvious.
okay. I mean, really, that just gave me chills when you said that. That was scary.
That was pretty. I'll
Yeah,
stop.
just knowing.
No. I mean, it was great. It wasn't like, don't say anything. It was more like, wow.
Yeah.
I just never would have. I don't even understand what that means.
Well, you call me and we'll talk about it. I'll help you understand it, Pamela. But you have they're right. You have the gifts. They're just not coming in the same way that they are for Ty and Carla and the other person. I'm sorry, I don't know who that is, but
Janet.
yeah, with Janet. But you have like kind of like Abraham Hicks. Esther Hicks gets that too,
Yes.
where it's like just implanted in her and then she just gets it out. So, what do you got for us today?
Well, I think Carla was going to help Pamela understand what it is to be empathic, or to understand. But you're already starting the process, which is great, and that is, hey, you get this direct, right? There's no interpretation of there's no woo-woo factor to it, which I think is bang on. And when I first met Pamela, and we were at Christian Michelson, and we were learning not distant healing, but what is it called? Miracle.
Instant miracle.
Instant miracle. Thank you, Carla. And we were supposed to go practice, and Pamela came up to me and says, can I practice with you? And I said, well, I'm not going to do what Kristen's telling us to do. She said, that's okay. So we went and had a little, we went to go meet by ourselves, and some other lady said, can I come and join you? And we had this incredible experience. I don't know where it came from, where we worked on 5 generations of Pamela. I had her just every time she stepped back, we had another generation, and we worked on some sort of disorder and disease. It just came naturally. And Pamela just wanted to play, and she got it and did it, right? And we, well, if Kristen had seen us, we would have failed. But anyway, we were doing our own instant miracle. So right from the get-go, I had this connection with Pamela, even though she was Christian, one of the top Christian's people, and she was very businesslike, and she could run the whole show for Christian. There was a part of her that wanted something more. And that's how I knew that she was empathic, even though she doesn't know what that word meant. So that's my piece of the puzzle. Over to you, Carla.
Yeah, I mean, I love this, and the conversation that we were having in our mastermind was discerning what is an empath and the different ways it could actually show up. And Pamela, you use the word woo-woo, and it's so like, I'm so woo-woo, I don't even know what woo is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's like, what does that even mean? Like, if people are woo-woo, so like the all-knowing, like you just know, like that's part of my woo-woo-ness, or that's just a part, like I just get it, like I don't even tap in, it just comes through, right? So we have that all-knowing. And I remember when Tyhson was reading that list of like, when you walk in a room, are you overwhelmed? And you're like, nope. Like, like you're just saying no to all these things, right? And so one of the things that came up that I think might be good for us to discuss here is we were also talking about the comparison of introvert and extrovert and empathic, where it's just like a natural perception that introverts are empathic because it's like we don't like we fuel up when we're alone. That's what an introvert is. When they're out and about, they actually get filled up by the people, right? But introverts, they get drained.
Right.
Right. And so how can you be what I would perceive you? You might be 50-50. What is your Myers like when you take that? Are you introvert
I'm an ambivert? Ambivert is what which means that it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Myers-Briggs is E though. ENF.
Yeah. Yeah. So I actually am too. Like I straddle, and for me, it depends on the energy that I'm around. Like it could be completely draining, or I could get totally full, but then I'm done for 2 weeks. then I need to go to my cave.
Yeah.
So for you, when we think about being an empath, like being able to tune in and just know, but you're also able to be around the crowd. Like you could run the state. Like you love teaching, right? Like this is what you do, right? Like, do you want to share just a little bit like about think about this, when you're teaching your class, right? And you're traveling around the world doing that, right? Teaching these high level executives. When you're standing in front of them, how do you feel?
I really do my best to read the room, to figure out what's going on, who's in the room, what's the energy of the room. Do I have enough people that are excited? Do I have people that are sitting there that don't want to be there? Just what's going on. And sometimes I've
smiles on
stopped
our
the room.
faces.
Pardon me?
We have big smiles on our faces because that's what an empath does, right?
Yes.
Reads the room.
So I guess my question is, don't we all sort of feel that energy? Don't we all?
That's the point. No.
Absolutely not.
You are unique. And that's why this conversation is so important for you, because if you understand your superpowers or your uniqueness in these gifts, then you will understand that not everybody has that. Because one of the disadvantages of thinking that everybody has that is you can say things to people that can blow them away because you just know things that you think that they should know and they don't know it yet. So this is for your own wisdom keeping about, do I really say that to this individual or not, right?
I have a quick hilarious story on that really quick. I used to run restaurants, and two of my staff came in, they're servers, and I was like, oh, when did you guys start hooking up? And they were like, what? And I was like, oh, this isn't common knowledge. Like I just read their energy. I didn't know this at the time. I thought it was common knowledge, but I totally outed them of having an affair. Oops. Discernment of what you share.
Well, I actually teach people how to do that though, in companies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I'll just stop and say, who just saw what this person just did? And it's like people just aren't realizing that they're registering things subconsciously. So I just try to bring it to the conscious. I just never saw. I mean, yes, I know it's a gift and I don't try to brag about it, but I guess I didn't see that as empathic. I don't know. So
what if you saw it more as a sense than a gift? Because I think when people talk about like gifts, it's like, I don't know, for me, I used to think that, but to me, it's just a sense, it's like, it's just a part of me that through the years, the more that you use it, it just gets enhanced. Just like, like when you dine out and you drink good wine or you eat organic food, like those senses get enhanced. We learn, we get fine tuned. Same with our empathic energy, same with our psychic energy. The more that we slow down and go in and pay attention to them, we upgrade them.
Got it.
Yeah, and I think it's really quite interesting, Pamela, because what you're doing as a business coach in the group is teaching people that we are all empathic. And so you're helping people turn their empathic ability on,
Yeah.
their empathy quotient up. So in a business environment, this is really important. You just can't steamroll everybody, with you got to do it this way. You need to empathically understand where that person is at when you give them instructions individually or in a group, or you're
Yes.
going to create chaos in your company.
Absolutely.
So that's why you're such a good business coach, is because you have this empathic ability and you're teaching other people to have that sensitivity. So hopefully this was helpful for you to get a sense of how you are a superstar and why you are a superstar.
That was very helpful.
Mm.
And
So
go ahead.
oops, we have a question from a listener who says, does being an introvert not depend on the environment? Where are you, Carla? How do we know where we are if in the person, oh, hold on, if in the other person or in our body? I talk all the time, stuff people don't like to hear. Oh, I see. So they don't understand how they're empathically working. That's what it is. It's not like you take over their body or you go in. You just can feel their vibration very easily. That's my understanding. What's yours?
Well, there's a couple of things, and maybe I think I heard a couple of things within that question. So one, what I heard is like the boundaries. Like, how do I know if somebody else is in my space or what's running through me is actually mine?
Yes.
Right. And so there's lots of techniques to do that. The first one of what I've always taught, and I think we talked about this last time, is do body scanning. And body scanning, closing your eyes, bring your consciousness from above your head, your aura, go through your eyes, your ears, your throat, muscles, go through every organ in your body, go through your legs, your feet, your toes, and come back up. Just constantly bringing your energy in, noticing the frequencies. When I started to do this many years ago, I would put a timer on to go off every 15 minutes to bring my energy in, because I was checking out all the time, because most of us who are empathic, we're sensitive. So we feel everybody's energy, we feel everything around us, and it doesn't feel safe. So we leave. And when we leave, other energy can come in.
Right.
So entities and all of that, like it's a vacuum. So the more that we come in, the more that the more we're aware that there's other energy in there. And that's like shining the truth light. When we're aware of it, it dissipates. Now, sometimes some energy stays in there, and that's when we do energy work and stuff. But the how is to quiet down and just go in. Now, if like for me, like taking a shower, doing some exercise, having somebody else do a healing on me, it's a really good place to start. So you're starting from a clean slate, and so you know what that energy is. And then as you body scan, you'll notice, oh, that feels different, that feels odd. Then you start to become aware of that. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely it does. It's becoming allowing yourself to feel safe in your body, because most empaths, we don't feel safe in our body because it was not safe to be in our body because of whatever was happening when we were growing up. We had to check out. We were just like, we were on hyper alert that something dangerous is going to happen. So we didn't want to be there.
Right. And the key to all of this is not being afraid of what you feel, because what we felt, the pain, we felt the anxiety, we felt all of that from other people. And so we didn't know how to control those energies. We didn't know that most people, we are afraid to feel something. But as you start to do the body scanning and even reframing, like one of the biggest things that I could empower somebody is stop saying you're in pain, or stop saying this or that. Just like, I'm heightened right now. Like I have an intense energy, because it doesn't give it power. And when you realize it's just energy, then it's like, oh, okay, so yeah, I'm heightened. How can I calm down, or what can I do? Because then that thing, we're not putting a meaning on it. And usually that meaning controls us.
Wow, I like that.
So can I just intervene here? Is that, I'm sorry, Tyhson, go ahead.
All right. I thought it was really interesting, because I think that's on a higher level, looking at things as energy is energy, and we don't need to label it.
Yeah, absolutely. What I find, I hope I didn't lose my thought here. When for me, I always knew what was mine and what was theirs. So I think that there are some people out there who are empathic who know the difference between the two. So I do a game, what's yours is yours and what's mine is mine. And so when you start to feel somebody else's, when your energy starts to change by being in your body, right? By doing all of those things Carla said, which is excellent advice. Once you start doing that, then you need then figure out, well, what's mine and what's yours by asking other people, do you have a headache? And then the headache dissipates and goes to them when they say, oh yeah, I do. Oh yeah, I do. It's right here. Yep, it's right here. And I think that's like the next step to figuring out what's theirs and what's mine, and then being able to help them, and that your empathic abilities are actually just like what Pamela's doing. You're making people aware of what it is that they have within themselves, which is why empaths are so important right now, because we're so shut down. We don't have a sense of, like, how do you say that, we're desensitized in America. Well, maybe the world, but I know in America we are. And so to be able to say to somebody, how are you feeling? And actually have them say, oh yeah, I guess I do. Then you can have empathy for other people and then grow and then be able to change this planet. That's my 2 cents in it.
Maybe I can jump in, because in writing the book about the empaths, or the highly sensitive guidebook for planet Earth, is there's 2 ways that I think, from reading what I'm reading, that you can be empathic like you are, Laura. You're 5th generation psychic lineage. You're just born that way. Some of us had to develop that skill because we were in a very, very unsafe environment. So it heightened our sensitivities because it was necessary for survival. In your case, you don't have trauma associated with it, so you don't have to deal with the trauma. But for those empaths that have trauma that induced this, we need to help them understand how to get rid of that trauma so that they're safe in their body, because it's the trauma that keeps having them want to disassociate. So
I would say I'm there now, but when I first started this, like, 20 years ago, I was out of my body and my heart was completely shut down. I felt so much, so all the time, that in utero, when I was inside my mom, I shut my heart down in order to be able to even come to this planet. So I understand what you're saying.
right.
I've just done the work, but that's what I've done the work.
I wanted to, there was another part of that question where the person says, she talks a lot of time and people don't want to hear the thing. And so discernment is like the word for 2020, but I think it's a word that we could use all the time. And so this happens a lot, this was actually at a Krystal Michelson event. I had one of the biggest paradigms of my life. And it was like, just because I feel it doesn't mean I have to heal it.
I love it.
And just because you know something doesn't mean you have to share it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I have friends who tune in and they know when somebody's going to die. Like they know when there's a catastrophe coming. Like, depending on who you are, kind of what frequencies are heightened for you, doesn't necessarily mean that you have to share that. That's when you go in, that's when you ask, that's when you connect to your guides, that's when you figure out for you, what do you share and what do you not. The other thing that I want to empower everybody, especially this person who asked, don't just share things. It's Janet often would tell me, you're giving a gift to somebody that they don't want.
Yeah.
And that is like the worst thing ever for me. It's like, I always want to give to be helpful, but if I'm doing something that's not helpful, then that really hurts me. And so asking, I have an idea, I have a feeling, would you like to hear it? And if they say no, shut up. Not to be mean, but keep it inside, write it in a journal, like put it somewhere where you don't have to hold it. Maybe you carry a journal of things that you're feeling and seeing, and then then process that and then see if you want to share. But you have to take responsibility for what you're feeling. Don't just keep throwing it out there at the universe.
I understand what you're saying too, Carla. I do. I understand the discernment part of it. But I also know that when you're starting to feel something on somebody else, that if you don't share it in some way, shape, or form, it starts to manifest within the body. of yourself. So like if you feel like if I felt somebody's knee, their right knee hurt, and I was giving a
Oh,
reading, I
so
go,
I'm not talking physical pain of like, does your shoulder hurt? My shoulder hurt. I'm talking about, are you having an affair with Joe? I'm talking about you
well,
are doing this or that. Like when you're feeling energy.
let's just clarify this a little bit.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yep.
Yeah, this
I
is
have an
secret stuff
example.
that has to do with relationships, and you just know it. I mean, I don't know how many girlfriends I lost by saying, "Did you know?" Blah 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 blah, and then the face goes like, "Ah," and you, oh God, I overstepped my boundaries. Yeah, don't do that.
I remember,
Shut up.
and
And Michael says, "This is my problem. Thanks for the shut up."
That's my issue.
I remember,
You're so sweet.
I remember sitting next to a guy. I was in this meeting and he came and he sat next to me and I smelled death on him. That's all I know what to say. I just knew that he was not long for this world. And he died within the week.
Yeah.
But I remember turning to the person next to me and I said, "Do you smell that?" And it was somebody, that I think it was my husband. And "Do you smell that? Can you see what's going on?" And he's like, "No." I mean, the guy he looked ashen. He smelled like death. That's all I know what to say. And of course, I wasn't going to turn around and say to him, "Gosh, you smell like death. Are you going to die this week?" I knew not to do that. And I'm hearing what you're saying is that there is a time and a place. If somebody said, "I'm not feeling very good," and came to me and asked, that might be a whole different story. But I still don't know that that's what I'd say. It,
Right.
being
Like,
kind to people.
well, and also like I worked with many of psychics. My father committed suicide when I was 18, and even before then, my grandma would take me to psychics. But there's a particular psychic in town that I like. I went to therapy a couple times. Like how they were like, "Oh, you seem to be handling it fine." I wasn't. I was stuffing it in. I had road rage, but I went to this psychic. Her name was Linda, and she helped us the most. Like the whole family would go have individual sessions because she would tune in to his spirits, read things, and then also give us practical tools of how to handle the energy. And so we talked a lot about this gift and how some people would be there and she would see when their death is coming, but she didn't, it wasn't her job to interrupt that process. But
Right.
then there's some people who came in and she helped them, like, yes, like I have permission to share this with you, and this is how you prepare your family for your exit. So it's like really being able to tune in of, even if somebody's asking you, it still might not be your, the place, but sometimes it is, because you could further support them. And this is where like discernment, slowing down, and really all of this is like, we should have, sorry, not shoulds. When we have reverence for this, and when we could really hold this, as we are so blessed to be able to have, these senses heightened of how we could really impact our lives, our family lives in the world. And when we come at it from then, I think it becomes less scary and it becomes more, I don't know, they're like respectful and honoring.
And Carla, that's why I always go by questions. And I think that's why Tyhson does as well, because I was giving readings and I was giving things to people and their jaw would drop and their heart would just like shut down. And I was like, okay, I can't do this way anymore. I have too much information coming in.
Right.
Only like through questions now will I answer. So, and people are like, well, that's not how I see it, like on TV with the Long Island medium. And I said, well, she's a medium and I'm a psychic, and I can tell you right now, I'm gonna get more information than she will in her little toe, and you don't want to hear it. And then they're like, oh, okay.
I want to go back to what Pamela's experience was. Pamela, what, because of your Christian background and the power of prayer, which is really who you are and why we love you. I mean, I'm not a Christian and I really don't pray, but let me tell you, every time we're together, I want you to pray for me. I mean, we always say that, Carla, please pray us out because you're so powerful. And we teasing lovingly say, we want to get you a pulpit because you're so good at it. So that person, and that sense of death that you felt, maybe that's because you have this opportunity because of that to do the blessing or to do a prayer to help this person get prepared to do the transition. Maybe that's why you're being told by God or by spirit, this information, because you do have this incredible power of prayer that I can feel is palpable, that to help that person with their, make the next move to another dimension. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out.
Thank
for your
you. I
consideration.
really appreciate it because it still haunts me that I knew that and I didn't
Yeah.
know what to do. And it just didn't even dawn on me to pray for them. So
Pamela, I have a friend who's just like you. His name is Haywood. I would love to put you two in contact. He is an amazing, we call him the preacher. And I had a show with him. There was the psychic, the shaman, and the preacher walk into a juice bar. And Haywood does exactly what you do. He would pray, and the prayers were so powerful. I was like, oh, that's what it is. And he would just get it and just let it flow through. And I would love to introduce you to him. I think you two would be like fast friends, because I think you both have very similar gifts. That's amazing. I've not heard of another person until Tyhson was explaining it to you. I was like, oh, Haywood, yeah. Because he didn't understand his either. He's like, I don't know, God, I just say my prayers, and people are like, wow,
yeah,
spot on.
it has been like that. So okay, so this is an empath. It's just a different kind of an empath because I don't
Yes.
feel and I don't get that overwhelm like evidently you do. Yes, Carla.
So before this thought leaves my brain, as it often will, what came to me, like, yes, every time you pray, we all feel it. I get chills, like the skies part, like we get the frequency of Jesus comes through. And there's lots of ways where that could be useful. So I feel like I am a death doula. Like that's one of the reasons why I'm here, helping people transition, helping their souls transition. And your prayer, like, so if you are someone who could tune in and you could feel when somebody is passing, maybe that's when you go inward and you do the prayers, you speak to their soul,
Right.
and you connect that way to putting that out, so you're not holding it, and there isn't that guilt if I'm not doing something, because you have that awareness. So go to the place that's really safe for you, which is spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I love that, Carla. That's amazing.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And because I'm hearing you guys talk and it's like, no, I'm not like that. No, I'm really not like that. And
Remember,
so,
it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum, right? And you can
yeah,
be anywhere
yeah.
along the
Well,
spectrum.
Why don't you just start saying, yes, I am, and just see what happens?
I can do that, Laura. I can do that.
Open up. God speaks through you, baby. There's no shame in that. There's no
No,
shame.
I'm not ashamed of it. It's just,
Mm-mm.
I'm excited about it. It just feels like it's so different that I'm not relating. And that's the part that,
Well,
because
maybe it's
I wanna
because you're
relate
so
to
busy
you.
fitting in. I mean, and you're good at fitting in. I mean, look at the hairdo and the clothes and everything. You need to fit in to do the corporate stuff. You have to be an empath in disguise to do what you're doing. And maybe that's part of what you need to do.
Okay.
I think there's a perception thing though, because I think
Yeah.
there's like, I don't fit in, I don't do it like you do, but you don't know how we do it.
I
Really.
don't. You're right.
And so there's that
I'm
perception
in awe of you guys.
and we're in awe of you, because sister, when you pray, like,
That's why you're in our group, because we're in all of you. We invite you to come.
I love you.
and I mean, you were my coach for a little bit, like when I went through your program, and your knowingness and your guidance. And the thing for you, it's like, you have this practical side, the step-by-step side, and this knowingness. And then when you tap into the spirit aspect, it's like, it's the you are a holistic person by definition of you do it all, you see it all. And the more that I think that you feel into that, and whether you call yourself an empath or whatever, I just get like the confidence and knowing, like, I don't know where I'm going with this, but like that fear of not fitting in is going to dissipate.
Yeah. Absolutely. And who cares about the labels anyway? You know, rigs, whatever, and this or that, or, you know,
I mean,
they're-
it helps people. Like there's like when we're able to connect to something, it's like we're with like-minded people. So labels do help us, but then they could hinder us. And so it's that navigating
Yes.
part. You know, it's like when I like Tyson, when you and I talk about like we work with highly sensitive people, or I am that, like if we the I am, then other people's like, oh my gosh, me too. But then let's not put restrictions on that. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
I love this conversation because hopefully it's opening the doors to our listeners so they can see where in this vast continuum they may be, from being highly sensitivity to being born with this, or having to experience it through trauma, or they're not partially in their body, or they have the entities or whatever. These are all symptoms of being somewhere along this continuum to being highly empathic and not having any boundaries and never inhabiting your body, which is a scary place to be. So if you're listening to this show and you're having accident after accident and things are just not working out for you, or you've got voices in your head, or you just have trauma that repeats itself, you need to get a hold of us so we can help you, bring you back to, I hate to say normal, whatever the hell normal is, but let's help you bring you back into your body so you feel comfortable on planet Earth. I mean, this is why I'm writing the highly sensitive person's guide to planet Earth, because I don't know where there's a guidebook that talks about this stuff, right?
Pam,
And
do you,
balance. I heard balance, by the way, Tyson. Instead of normal, like balance within
All right,
themselves.
I like that. Never mind normal. We're never going back to normal. I don't want to go back to normal.
I have a great story about Tyson. I
Oh.
really, this is one of my faves. So I am at this event and I'm working with this woman and I'm talking to her and I'm practicing this instant miracle process and I'm praying with her and she's crying. And it was so funny because Tyson literally, we were in this quiet corner and Tyson walks by and I get this instant urge that says, I need to ask Tyson to help. And so I said, Tyson, would you help us? And he says, sure. So he just stands there and the woman says, I feel like I haven't been born. And he goes, because you haven't. And I'm just sitting there going, what the heck are you talking about? He went through a birthing process with this woman and we were together. He guided her through the birth canal. And I just remember just sitting back going, I have no idea what this guy's
And it
doing.
was in the hallway of a hotel.
Yes. Yes.
where
A
a better
birth
way
canal.
to give birth than in a hallway?
Yeah, really. No kidding, Laura. It was just fascinating. So I have always held Tyson in this place that I don't even know what he taps into. I don't even know what he does. But it didn't dawn on me that I was also tapping in and I was using a partner to do what I wasn't called to do. He was doing what he was called to do. The two of us had to do this together. So it just was pretty cool.
I
Yeah.
can
Remember
I
that.
can
She's an
appreciate
amazing lady.
that.
And it's true, she was not in her body.
Hmm.
Hadn't arrived on planet Earth. So we, welcomed her to planet Earth. That was, welcome to planet Earth, right?
Hello.
Is there anybody who wants a reading on the phone? Because I think it'd be fun to have Pamela tune in and like we each just give our like 2 cents of what they're saying.
All right, let's open the lines. We got 15 minutes to go to the top of the hour. Volkner says not being born is linked to cesarean or suction cup birth. Interesting question. Yeah, I think there can be trauma at birth, the way that you're birthed, and that could also be shocking you to not fully integrate. Also, I think in my experience is that, you made a soul agreement that in this incarnation you're going to do A, B, C, D, and E, F, and you're going to choose your mom and your dad, and now you're incarnating. You're about to, with the first breath, enter that body, and you go, oh no, that's way too much. I'm out of here. So you don't really integrate fully. So I go in and I look at what percentage of you has arrived on planet Earth, and then we help you bring back all of you so it's safe for you to be born. So that's a great question. So the lines are open, 1-866-369-7464, and here goes the phone. All right.
Doesn't take long.
Hi, Krystal. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Carla mentioned the free reading, so I hung up
Oh, you hung up. Oh no, don't hang up. You're here.
so I could call.
All right. So what would you like? You want a free reading? What's your name?
Krystal Ruth Schmidt.
Hi, Krystal. How you doing?
You
All right. So, who wants to start?
What's the question?
What's the
She wants
question?
to have a bit of a reading. So, what's your question?
Oh gosh.
What do you want to know about your son?
Yeah, I guess I suppose I would just like to have like a general weather outlook, emotional outlook for this year in regards to navigating the changes that are happening. I live in California, Northern California, and there's a lot of oppressive regulations being enforced, and I'd like to know more about that.
Well, one thing I can say is that when you talked about your 50th birthday to me, about the fact that you had the landscape divas at the three principal mountains in your landscape wished you happy birthday and you were in tears. I went, oh my God, this woman is so blessed that she understands the power of where she lives. So to me, that is the biggest blessing you could ever receive, in the sense that you are really have all those interdimensional awareness helping you, embracing you in your life's path, and that you've found a place where you're safe, you understand the landscape, you understand your function of being an earth steward there, you have a nurturing family, you have an amazing child. So I don't know, to me the weather report would be pretty darn good if you just are willing to continue to tap into that energy of where you are. That will keep you always safe and in the right place at the right time. So that's, but I'm saying this because I know you and I know what you just received, and I'm actually blown away. I'm maybe even a little jealous, to be quite honest.
That's funny.
That's funny. Yeah. Okay. It's funny.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
So is there any other, anybody else getting anything for Krystal?
I feel like she has fear, and that there's something in her life that she's constantly in fear of, and it's either in a relationship or her relationship to her home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
I do. I'll tell you, my big fear is being a homeschooler. And in California, like I've always been an independent homeschooler, and now everyone's becoming homeschoolers, and I've been able to have like a total freedom with my son and teaching him and whatever I want, pretty much, you know. And I'm really afraid of losing. I'm really afraid of losing.
Yeah, you know, you had this vision of being able to do this when you moved, you know, off the land, you know, off the grid back into the town where you are now. And I remember you saying that you would like to offer this opportunity to work with other parents to do homeschooling. What I'm going to say is pretty politically incorrect, but I'm going to say it anyway. So what if you actually did do that, and that the state of California said you need to do it A, B, C, D, E, and F, and G, and you just did it the way that you wanted to do it, and you made sure that all the kids could do A, B, C, D, and E, F, and G according to the state, but you went ahead and taught them exactly the way you wanted to teach them. How about that? That's what I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you afraid of? There's nothing to fear.
Yeah, so I mean, wouldn't that be incredible? I mean, then everybody, like, not only do you get to teach your son, but your son.
Uh-oh.
Together in a way in which they're safe.
Yeah. I mean, I absolutely love teaching. The process of teaching to read is like, you know, watching a flower bud.
Yeah.
Mine's infinite, but
there's still fear. There's still
I think
fear.
I have to push forward and not be so afraid. I mean, sometimes I feel so overwhelmed. I feel like someone's just going to kick in my front door.
Okay, Carla wants to say
really
something.
Quite intense, and I have skills to like calm it down and write it out and everything. But boy, as soon as I start to, you know, it can snowball really quick for me.
All right, Carla wants to jump in here. She has some words for you.
So, hi, Krystal.
Hi, Carla.
So what I have been feeling into, very similar to what Laura was saying, is that fear that's back there. And I get the logical thing of just need to push through. That's the opposite of in terms of what I am intuiting for you. Instead of pushing through and just going with it, stop. Let's slow down. Let's go in. Let's find that core, that where that fear is coming from, because I suspect, like, what I get it, and what I'm feeling is like the center of my chest, and then it goes all the way down through my root chakra, and then it feels like the tree roots going in to the earth. So it's almost as if like this fear is rooted into like your roots. You're afraid your roots are going to be pulled up or something along those lines, or there's something. And so as you push through, it's you're ignoring this really important part, because remember, all of this is just information. It's just this part of you that's speaking to you of like, hey, I need some love, I need some attention here. So when we push through, we actually abandon that part of us. So I'm not saying not to push through. What I'm saying is, let's stop and let's explore what this is, so you could be in unison and all of your energy could be going forward instead of being split. That's what I feel.
Wow. Yeah, I never even thought of it that way. And you know what? I think I'll have to really just sit through the next time I have overwhelming fear and try that.
Yeah, go to your favorite tree.
See what pops up.
Go to your sacred tree. Because Carla, what she was describing was the roots, right? And you know the tree, and you know the sanctuary beneath the tree that you visit. So use the tree to help you, bring you into that stability.
Yeah.
And being okay that fear is there, embracing that fear, exploring it. Think of it like the image that's coming to me is like this box. And you open the box and you're like, let's see what's in here. And it's like, oh, there's my mom's belief or dad's belief, or I'm afraid of my son. I'm afraid the government's going to tell me I can't. Okay, let's just explore that and let's feel into that. And we'll just release that on all levels, time, spaces, dimensions, known and unknown, and just feel and allow that to be there. Pamela, you have something too?
Yeah.
How did Michael know?
Well, we all could feel it.
Oh.
he's just verbalizing what we're feeling.
So, Krystal, I'm standing because my watch told me to stand. Anyway, what came up for me is when you're talking was Job 3:25. I don't know if you are familiar with that, but the verse is, the thing which I greatly feared has come upon me, and that which I was afraid of has come unto me. So anytime we have fear, the longer we hold on to it, the more we attract it. It's just an automatic. So if you're holding the fear, which is exactly what you've just been told, then that's actually, you're attracting it. You're asking it to come, and you're going to ask it to continue to come, and it will happen. So it's like, let's not let that happen. Let's do something different. And so feeling into it, sitting into it, getting to the root of it, going to the core. What is the cause of the fear? What is the real fear? And that really has nothing to do with your son. I believe it has something to do with something that happened when you were much, much younger. And so it's going into that and figuring out what is really the source of this. And then you're going to be just fine. So that, and I'd love to pray for you if that's okay.
So go for it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. What's your son's name, Krystal? David. Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, I just lift to you, Krystal. I just lift to you her, that this is the love of a mother who has a son that's very, very special to her, just like you are very, very special. Just like Krystal is very, very special to you. I just thank you that you just put your loving arms around her, that you hold her tight, and that you show her how important she is to you, and that you care about every little thing. You care about how the government steps in. You care about everything that happens to her family and to dear little David. I just thank you for protecting them, for putting a hedge of protection around them, for just keeping them in a really hollow and holy space, and just releasing that fear in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that. Thank you.
All right. So we got about 5 minutes to go. We may have time for one more. So the lines are now open. Thank you, Krystal. We love you.
All right. Thank you.
All
I
right.
love you. I love you.
All right, the line's now open, 1-866-369-7464. And if you're quick like a bunny, we might be able to fit you in. Have 5 minutes at the top of the hour.
Well, people are waiting. That's nice before they come in.
Yeah, there was somebody that was phoning in at the same time, but thank you people for, not trying to, because we keep hearing beep, beep, beep on the line. And we know we want to fit you in, and well, we know this is important to you, and if we have to keep opening up and never talking about anything else on the show about psychic readings, we'll have to do that, right? All right, welcome to the Wellness Show. Who are we talking to? Hello, hello. You're on the Wellness Show. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, there you are. Who are we talking to?
Here I am.
Who are you talking to?
I was not talking to anyone. I was listening to you, waiting for you to answer my phone.
Okay, well, I'm answering your phone, so who am I talking to?
This is Melissa.
Melinda. So how can we help you, Melinda?
No,
Melissa.
Melissa. Okay, Melissa, you are on the show.
Okay.
This is your go. All right, what's up?
Oh my gosh. I am so happy that I got through.
Well, you did.
You guys are really amazing. You're really amazing, and I've been watching the last couple of days, and yeah. So I just wanted to say thank you for doing this. It's really seems to be very informative. I'm learning a lot.
Well, thanks for showing up.
And yeah. And my question is, I've got some health problems and issues that I've been dealing with. It's been quite a journey over the last 4 or 5 years, and I've grown a lot through it. But I really wanted to just settle down.
All right. So I'm just going to speed you up a bit because we're nearly at the top of the hour. So what is it that you would really like us to focus on?
My health, and is there something serious going on with my health?
Yeah. So with regard to your health, let me just tune in and see how you're doing with regard to your health. So yeah, you're about if you were everything was running according to Hoyle, whoever Hoyle is, you're at about 50% of your capacity. So so do you know anything about the deep clearing protocol?
I do Raven Grace's deep clearing protocol twice a day.
Okay, so this is an extension of Raymond Grace's deep clearing protocol. It's based on his work and other master dowsers, 64 questions. And I think if you started to do that, let me just tune in and see if you did do that. It's a 21-day commitment. And pretty well that would get you way up into the 80s, if not the 90s. So
Can I ask a question? Does she have digestive issues? Is that what's going on?
Yes.
there they
Yes.
are.
Yes.
Yeah, so what is it that you can't digest in your own life? What is it that's showing up in your life that you don't want or haven't been prepared to digest? So that's why the deep clearing will help you. It will sort out what you don't want to digest from what you do need to digest. And Carla?
I'm also getting, just really quick.
Just a minute. Hang on. Carla wants to say something.
I'm just getting also like a parasite, but when I ask more, it's more a thought parasite, whether it's hers or somebody else's, and I feel it like right at the solar plexus, really deeply in there. So like something is in and holding on. So whether it's manifested physically or somebody else's belief went in there that she bought into.
Right.
So.
Do you think it, Carla, that is energy riding on a parasite? I get it is.
No, for sure. Yeah.
All right. So if you head over to the Wellness Academy, you'll find that there is a parasite cleanse that you can do there energetically. So I suggest you do that, and the deep clearing protocol that will get you on the way. And come on back and let us know how it's going. And if you need any further cleanup, we're going to help you. Okay.
I got one more thing
Okay.
to add.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
All right. Bye for now. All right, guys, we're at the top of the hour. Thank you all for showing up. Pamela, hopefully that was helpful for you to know that you know how awesome you are and that you are a
Thank
great
you. It was
preacher.
amazing. I really appreciate it. And Laura, it was really nice meeting you.
Well, I need you and I got to connect, girl. You call me.
I need your phone number, but I do have your website, so I'll look you up.
And we'll just stay on the show after we cut off, and we'll talk.
And Carla, thank you. Hopefully this is exciting enough for you to come back on a weekly basis. Thank you for giving this opportunity to our listeners about where are they on this spectrum from highly sensitive all the way through to empathic. So this is it. This is a wrap. We're back Monday morning, same time, same place. Until then, be healthy, wealthy, and wise. And bye for now.
Love
Bye.
you.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.